Roland Grimes, not just sports and entertainment show. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I'm your host, Wilbert Skipper, also known as Mr. Self-Empowerment. We are taping live and streaming live from the Society Lounge, 8229 Georgia Avenue in downtown Silver Spring, Maryland. If you have not made it down to the Society Lounge, I highly encourage that you put it on your to-do list. For 2013, you will not be disappointed. And by the way, let them know that Roland Bubba Grimes said hello. As always, folks, we have a dynamite show on tap for you this evening. We are very excited. We're going to show up and show out. And we have as my guest, the one and only, Sweet Cherie. But don't clap yet. Let me give you a little history. Sweet Cherie is a graduate of Duke Ellington High School and also Howard University. She is a fantastic, great, good, all that good stuff musician. She's going to talk a little bit about that. She also had the opportunity to play with the late godfather of go-go, Chuck Brown. Please put your hands together and help me welcome the one and only Sweet Cherie from Belladonna. Woo! Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Now, Sweet Cherie.
Yes.
We have a lot to talk about in a short period of time.
Okay.
So I'm going to get right to the core stuff, and we're going to build it up. We're going to come up to where we need to be. So let's first start with when did you first come to realize that music might be something that you were going to be doing probably for a long time? Where did that start?
Well, my parents, they had put me in piano lessons, of course, when I was about 5 years old. And actually, at that point, I really didn't want to play. They forced me to take lessons. I always had an ear for music. I always wanted to play songs off the radio and, my favorite songs. And I think it wasn't until when I was in elementary school, there was a police band called the Side by Side Band. They would visit all the DC public schools in their uniforms, and they would play all the cover songs that was popular on the radio, and they would play a few go-go songs from Chuck Brown, Trouble Funk, etc. And I was very inspired by that, to see those guys. They would perform songs, get paid for it, and they enjoyed themselves. They had fun. So I felt like, that's something that I would like to do. I wish I was on that stage doing that. So that was the moment that I felt that, this is something that I want to do.
Well, in life, when we do things, some of us do things for fun, and some of us do things for a living, and some of us have a little in between. Now, obviously, you play the keyboards.
Yes.
But you write music?
Yes.
You are an arranger?
Yes.
You're a singer?
Yes.
I mean, you multitasking all in one. So when did all that come about? I mean, the music is one aspect of it, but when did you realize that you probably could do a number of things as it relates to music?
That just came in time, touring with different artists. I've been on the road with Pieces of a Dream, Chic, Now Rogers and Chic, Angela Bofill, Gene Carn, Chuck Brown, Sugar Bear EU. So within every group that I play with, I learned to develop different talents that I never knew existed. I mean, I never thought that I would sing. I didn't start singing until I was playing with Sugar Bear, and that was just by default because Maisha, from Maisha the Hip Hugger, she was absent from a few shows, and they would say, okay, Cherie, come on and sing. And I'm like, okay, I was very, reluctant at first, but, and same thing with arranging, those abilities are coming about just from with Belladonna, we have to create songs and, like I said, it's just from different facets, different artists that I played with, I just discovered new things, and I'm still growing, I'm still evolving, and it's a process, it's a lifetime.
It's an ongoing process.
Yeah. I can never be complacent or comfortable with what I'm doing. I always want to grow and do more things.
So now when you were this young teenager growing into your own, who were some of the people that you said, well, listen, I need to follow them, or maybe if not follow them, I need to listen to them, listen to their music before you actually came into your own? Do you have any of those people, a list of people?
Oh, yeah. I used to love Phyllis Hyman. A lot of people say I kind of favor her, too. I don't sing like she does, but I loved Phyllis Hyman. I loved Tina Marie because, she was not only a vocalist, but she was a composer, arranger, a writer.
Multi-talented.
Yet a very great performer. I love the stage performance as well. there was a lot of bands like Earth, Wind and Fire. You know, I love their music, the orchestration, Maurice White, and you know all of their players. George Duke.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I love George
Absolutely.
Duke. I mean, he was just
one
so
of my favorites.
funky, yeah. And I have a tough time deciding which one is my favorite, either Herbie or George. You know, I get into these discussions. And Patrice Rushen, I love Patrice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So in
she's
other
got-
words, the old school works for you.
Well, see, my dad plays the bass.
Oh, wow.
He's not a professional musician or anything, but he loved to play at home. I call him a shower bass player, like a shower singer. You know, people that sing in the shower, but they're afraid to sing out. But my dad plays the bass, and you know, he would be at home just jamming to Brothers Johnson and you know, Graham Central Station.
Now you know you're taking me back.
Well, and I'm also telling my age.
That's well. Hey. When you age, folks, get this. Aging is fine as wine. And Marcus Johnson knows a little bit about that. He's coming up later on. He'll be able to talk
He
about
knows
that.
a lot about wine.
Absolutely, he knows a lot about wine. But no, that's a good thing. I think as music evolved, I think that the sounds of music have changed.
Yes.
And obviously for me, being old school, I like the Brothers Johnson. I like Earth, Wind and Fire and Maze and you know all these groups going back. And it always does something for me.
Exactly.
Now, when you look at the music today, as it is, what changes do you see in between the old school and the new school that may or may not affect how you look at music today?
Well, like when I turn on to stations like 95, PGC, and 93, a lot of times I hear a lot of pop. It's gone very pop oriented. And I love Michael Basin's show. I love 96.3, 102. I love those adult contemporary stations because you know, it's feel-good music to me.
Absolutely.
You know, it really does something to me. The music that's on the radio now, it's cool for the kids. You know, it's cool to dance to, and that's about all I can get from it. I can't really get any type of musical nourishment from it.
Exactly.
It sounds pretty good. I'm not going to fault it because I do have to play that in some of the clubs. In order to keep working
Exactly.
in the city, we have to be current, and we have to continue to play what's on those radio
What's hot.
stations.
Yeah.
It's hot,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know, there are times that you just want to listen to some SOS bands, some 70s, 80s music, some good, feel-good music.
Okay.
That's what I like to call it.
Okay. Well, folks, we're getting ready to take a break. We're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back on the Roland Grimes Not Just Sports and Entertainment Show with Sweet Cherie from Belladonna. Era with Sweet Cherie. How Thank you. Welcome back to the Roland Grimes Not Just Sports and Entertainment Show. I have the lovely Sweet Cherie from Belladonna as our guest. And before we took a break, we were just catching up on some things about Cherie, the background, music, things of nature. So now we're going to move into the Chuck Brown era with Sweet Cherie. How did that come about? I have many questions on that, but let's start there. How did that come about? How did that manifest into a reality?
Well, at the time, I was performing with Sugar Bear, with Maisha and the Hip Huggers, and we were performing at Club U. And one day it was Sugar Bear's birthday, and Chuck Brown just decided to swing through. He sat in, and I was just in awe because, you know, this is the Godfather. You know, you can't get any better than that. So when he came in, we played, I think, Bustin' Loose or something, one of his songs, and I think Go-Go Swing. And I was just excited because I already knew his songs. You know, just like with Earth, Wind and Fire, I also categorized Chuck Brown with that caliber as well. So I already knew his songs. So anything you called, I was like, I'm there, I'm on it, you know, and I was excited. So he performed, he sat in with us, and we played, and after that, he gave me a call, and he says, how much is Sugar Bear paying you?
You've already decided that you can emulate his voice.
And once he said that, I just said, well, when you want me to start, you know? And not that I was just, leaving Sugar Bear so abruptly or anything, but it was an opportunity for me, and I really admire and respected Chuck Brown, and everybody wants to play with Chuck.
Absolutely.
Everybody
Absolutely.
does. Even if you can't play, you still
Absolutely.
want to play with Chuck.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny, folks, because we all have our different ways of getting pumped up for whatever it is that you're doing. I was listening to the Chuck Brown CD like I always do on game day. This is game day for us. So I'm listening to the Chuck Brown CD, and there's Chuck Brown within the CD saying something regarding the Cherie. And then there's the little keyboard part. And I said, wow, we're going to have Cherie as a guest on the show. I didn't want to stop playing Chuck Brown. But having said that, when you look at playing with someone as iconic as Chuck Brown, what were some of the things that you were able to walk away from that experience that helps you right now in your own walk in life, personally and also musically?
Well, musically, I had to learn that, just because he's an artist, he's an icon, you can't be afraid. And I was a little nervous at first because, I'm very shy, of course. I mean, you may not know that, but I am a little shy.
We can't tell that Cherie is shy when she's playing the keyboards. She must be zoned out then. That's a different world for you.
But when it comes down to work and performance, I felt that I wouldn't have been called if I wasn't qualified. So I have to do my job.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, he can get someone else to do it.
Take advantage of
But I'm not
opportunities.
going to throw this opportunity away, and I'm going to do my best and not think about, he's an artist, oh my goodness, just do the best that I can. And I've been playing with him for about 12 years.
Wow.
12 years, off and on, because
Wow.
he had fired me about a couple of times, only because I was on the road. At that point, I was touring, and I think he just really couldn't understand, like, wow, I'm Chuck Brown, but that's something that I had to do. And that's another thing that I had to learn, that, he was very considerate and compassionate when he brought me back. And he had to understand that, wow, I'm not going to stop her from pursuing a career, but however, I do need someone consistent.
Absolutely.
But he allowed me to pursue my dreams and to play in this band as well.
Well, when you look at Chuck Brown, as iconic as he is, and God bless Chuck Brown and his family, and everything that Chuck Brown has done for the Washington, D.C. area, if someone said to you, Sweet Cherie, what are 3 things that you could say to describe the godfather of go-go, the late godfather of go-go, Chuck Brown, what would you say to them?
Number one, I could say that he's definitely a family man. He respects and he loves his family. He always takes time for his family, regardless of how busy our work schedule can be. And he would always take his wife with him. She was always there. He loves his grandkids and his children. He's always at the football games, and I'm like, how does he do it? So that encouraged me, because now I'm a mom.
Absolutely.
At the time when I performed with him, I didn't have any kids. I wasn't married or anything. But now I totally get it. I understand that the music will always be here, but family is a necessity. It's very important as well. Another thing that I admire about him is that when we perform, and he loves the crowd, that interaction, that's a definition of go-go too, the crowd, the response,
Absolutely.
the call and response, all of that. So that's very important with him, to whereas if there's only 10 people in the audience, he would rather not perform, because
He feeds off the energy of people.
yeah, and not to mention, he doesn't want to take advantage of the promoter as well. He feels like, look, I'll just keep my deposit, and I don't want you to waste any money or anything. But he just wants, the crowd to see him at his best, and when he's performing with a large crowd,
So now we're moving into the Belladonna era. So how did Belladonna come about? Let's start there. How did the band originate? When did that happen, and how did that come into play?
About 4 years ago, about 5 female musicians, including myself, we traveled down to Atlanta to back up a friend of mine named Miriam Wright. And after we performed, we had such a wonderful time. It was a wonderful experience. And we said to ourselves, we need to continue this. We don't want to just stop right here. You know, it's something special here. And we want to pursue that. And so the drummer, Shannon Brown, our current drummer, she called me and she said, Cherie, you know, we need to continue this. And I said, yeah, you know, let's do it. And so 4 of us, you know, we decided to get the band together. We decided on a name. And ever since then, we've just blossomed. We've just been gigging. We've been blessed to perform and travel.
And you have been, because I've been following Belladonna. I think I've had the opportunity to see you guys play one time.
Okay.
And I was overwhelmed with the energy and the excitement and everything. And I want to talk to you more about Belladonna. We're going to take a break and come back. And when we return on the Roland Grimes Not Just Sports Entertainment Show, we're going to get a little bit more deeper into Belladonna. By the way, folks, if you don't already know, Belladonna is an all-female band. All-female band, very talented at that. We'll be right back on the Roland Grimes Not Just Sports and Entertainment Show. Thank you. Welcome back to the Roland Grimes Not Just Sports and Entertainment Show. My guest this evening is the lovely, sweet Cherie from Belladonna. If you missed the first segment, you missed out. If you missed the second segment, you missed out. So now we're into the third segment, and I hope you tune in and stay tuned, because this is going to get deep. Cherie, Belladonna, all-female band. Award-winning Belladonna.
Yes.
You've just won some awards.
Yes.
Your band is one of the hottest bands on the East Coast.
Okay.
Not just in the D.C. area, folks. No, Go-Go goes beyond the D.C. area. It originated here, but no, it travels far. When you look at your band members, all female, what do you say? Do you say awesome, amazing?
I do. I say awesome. Because not only are the girls talented, but they are beautiful. We're each different. It's specific, you know. We're designed. Black women are different anyway, and every female in our band represents someone. You know, someone in the audience can say, "Wow, she looks like me," or "She's just like me," or I want to be like that." So that's the role model. That's the example that we try to set.
Well, it's funny that you say role model. So let's stay there for a second. When you look at the role model aspect of it, some athletes, some musicians, some performers and actors, they say that they're not a role model. What is your take on being a role model? Are you a role model? Do you see yourself as being that way? Or what is your take on that?
Absolutely. Anytime that you're performing, you're speaking, you're in the presence of the media, you are a role model. And it's up to us to have integrity and to always remember that. You know, there's always some little girl out there that's watching you. And I always tell the girls that we always have to be careful of how we present ourselves, how we sit, how we speak, what we say, and the media, the social media can sometimes be a devil,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely.
So you also have to be careful of that and mindful of that. There's always someone out there that's watching you from your head to your toenail polish.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, we always have to keep that in mind, that, you know, everything that we do, we're responsible for that. And we can be criticized and judged accordingly. So I always instill in the girls and ensure that, you know, wherever we go, outside of the stage, we always have to understand and respect the fact that someone is watching. We are role models.
Oh, absolutely. And I agree, folks. And just for the viewing audience and those of you who are live in our audience, the one thing that you need to understand is that being a role model does not suggest that you have to do something and people have to look up to you. I mean, some people say that, but the reality is that the way you walk in your life is very important. If you mean well, you need to not only talk the talk, but you need to walk the walk. And that's what Cherie from Belladonna is talking about now.
Exactly.
Now, as we talk about Belladonna's music, your role with Belladonna, you play the keyboard, you do sing.
Yes.
I believe you write songs.
Yes.
I believe you arrange.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you do with Belladonna that we don't know that we need to share with our listening audience and our live audience?
Well, I'm the musical director, so I'm the person that is in charge of the music and the cues on the stage, just to make sure that we have a nice flow within our show.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it.
Okay, now, as a motivational speaker, when I speak to everybody, I find myself at a certain point getting zoned out.
Right.
And when by zoned out, simply, folks, I mean that some people look at me and they say, well, Mr. Self-Empowerment, you on this island. Where are you? No, I'm not on this island. I'm in my comfort zone. For you as a musician,
Yes.
when do you, well, first of all, let me rephrase that. Do you get zoned out, number one? And if you do, when do you get zoned out?
Absolutely. When the music is pumping and the crowd is engaged and they're just loving what you do, of course, you get zoned out. And that's the relationship with the audience. A lot of times it's not always about me. It's about pleasing the audience, because they're the people that pay to come see you. They're your fans. They enjoy you. They support you. So, yeah, absolutely. I get zoned out. I get in the zone when I perform. It starts to sound good and it feels good. You can't help it.
And folks, I always say when I'm speaking that it's an inner and outer body experience. And it's hard to explain sometimes to people, but she's saying the same thing. Now, Belladonna is growing.
Yes.
Belladonna is getting bigger.
Yes.
Belladonna is traveling. Belladonna is playing in Waldorf, they're playing in D.C., they're playing in Charlottesville, Virginia. They're getting ready to go, I believe, to North Carolina.
Ocean City.
Ocean City. I mean, they're all over the place. So I commend you and Belladonna for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Obviously we lost the late godfather of go-go, Chuck Brown, and we will never fill that void.
Right.
But I do believe that there are other things that are happening, and I'm going to throw Belladonna in the mix.
Okay.
That's helping to bridge that gap.
Yes.
To make us feel better, about where we are right now. Now, give our viewing audience and listening audience some information as to how they can reach you, how they can book your group for events, parties, things of that nature. Why don't you repeat it a couple times? Look right into that camera and let them know how they can reach you.
Yes, you can reach Belladonna on our website, www.belladonnaband.com. Again, it's www.belladonnaband.com. We're also on Facebook, Belladonna Band. We have a Facebook page. We also have a mobile app as well. And our manager is John Agurs, and he can be reached on Facebook as well.